Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome. As you are joining in right now, you can go ahead in the chat and tell us where you're joining in from. In case you don't know, I'm Tonia, and I am in the Atlanta, Georgia area. Actually lived here for 10 years, and I love it. I love sunshine. As you can see, I have the window open with it coming in. And so I'd love to know where you're joining in from, and if it's a place that you love being, or if you're like, I'm ready to move. I don't want to go anywhere. I want to travel other places, but I don't want to live anywhere. So we'll give everybody about another minute or so to jump in, and then we are going to go completely all in. I want to respect your time because our time is valuable. I know you all hear me say that all the time. It is valuable and we have to maximize it. And so I want to make the most of your time while we're together and ensure that we're not just, I don't want to say wasting time, but at the same time, I don't want to be wasting your time because I appreciate that you're even jumping in and tuning in to hear what we have to offer and how we can help you. And I want to make sure that you get the most out of it. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you. Okay. If you can all see the presentation, go ahead and give me a thumbs up just to let me know. Excuse me, let me take a sip of water. I got a tickle in my throat. So how many times have you been asked this question? Who are you? I've been asked that several times. And in the past, I had a hard time answering that question. I either answer it with what I do, or my titles, or my roles, like I'm a wife, I'm a mom. But I always felt like the answer I gave wasn't good enough. More so that I wasn't good enough. And so I had a hard time. That question made me uncomfortable. And especially in new settings, like I could easily strike up a conversation and say, how are you doing? Tell me a little bit about you. But then when people ask me that, it was very, very hard to answer. And I couldn't figure out why. But it was because I didn't really know who I was. Even the question, what do you like to do for fun, was always laced with something regarding my husband, my kids, their activities, but not anything that was uniquely just me. Have you ever been there? That was me. And so just making sure that I got to know, like, who am I? Because I could tell you back when I was a teenager, exactly, again, it was still the things that I was doing, but it was like I had more confidence. I was a little more sure of me. But then as life happened and different things, started taking place in my life, I started looking through a different lens and I was no longer sure of me, of who I am, or even that confidence that I needed. And so I started on my own journey. And that's what the journey of you is all about. And so we want to get you to a point where you can just be you and you can know it, own it, embrace it, live it, love it, and then share it with others. Okay. So a little bit about our company. How many times have you thought, I should have, I could have, I would have? We all heard that saying, should have, could have, would have. Or you believe that you were created for something more than what you are currently settling for. You know that feeling you get. It's like your entire body is engaged and stirred to make an impact. But then fear, doubt, or those limiting beliefs about who you are kind of hold you back. That is what we're all about. Helping Christian women to overcome self-limiting beliefs in order to think, act, and live your God-given purpose, one mindset shift at a time. We want you to become exactly who God created you to be, and then go and reach those He's called you to, authentically and unapologetically, completely just as the one and only you. Because who you are, it's unique as your fingerprints, your DNA. Nobody else has the same thing as you. They don't have the same perspectives, experiences, and plans that God has for you. It's just for you. And so Pablo Picasso was quoted to say, the meaning of life is to find your gift. The purpose of life is to give it away. We want to help you find your gift. Why choose the journey of you? Well, because here you're choosing you. It's not called the journey of me. It is the journey of you because it's your life's journey. That way you're able to figure out, okay, well, who am I? You can uncover that. See yourself the way that God sees you, and then become all that He created you to be. It's as unique as you. We'll provide the tools, but it's up to you to take action and put in the work. Because having the tools is one thing, but actually walking through them and doing something with it is another. So one thing I want to remind you is to never let anyone or anything stop you from blooming, because there's something great inside of you. So dare to just be you. What is our service? There's 3 different things. 1 is for you to learn and uncover. 2 is for you to implement, and 3 is for you to become. What does that mean? Uncover who you are. Remove any filters or blurred lens that you have been viewing yourself through. Start to shift your mindset around how you see yourself. Like when you look in the mirror, what do you see? What is it that you're telling yourself? Is it positive? Is it negative? Is it your own thoughts and God's truth about you? Or is it the opinion of someone else or something that someone even that was close to you that you loved and trusted said, and it took root and you started to believe it as truth, and that's what you see when you look in the mirror? Or the imperfections or the things that you don't like. When you look in the mirror, what is it that you see? And what is it that you say to yourself? That's where we want to start to build your foundation. We want to uproot some of those things so that you can start changing the way that you look at yourself. Implement, take action, follow the instructions and guidance provided. It is learned from experience in the school of hard knocks. It's so you don't have to make those same mistakes. So make the choices that are best for you, implement it, and make a choice for yourself. Not that somebody else chose for you, but what you chose for yourself. Become. You may have given your powers to others previously, or allowed their words and opinions to take root, like I was talking about. But now that you have uprooted those, you can step into who you were created to be and start to live your life on your terms from here on out. Okay. And so we do have 2 tools that we offer. One of them is a course. It's our signature course, Just Be You. And it's literally going to help you map out those things, which I'm going to show you on the next slide. And the second is access to our community of women and support along your journey. We were made for community. We were not made to go through life alone. And we don't want you to go through this course or this journey alone either. It's great to have others to see their experiences. Like if you don't relate to my stories, maybe you relate to this young lady's stories, or you relate to this story, this person's story over here, and maybe they relate to yours. And so iron sharpens iron, as it tells us in scripture. And so it's just helping each of us to connect arm in arm and hold each other up, especially on those days where it's like, it's tough. And those limiting beliefs might be just staring you in the face and chasing you down. And you're not sure, like, oh, you can't come up for air. They're there to kind of be those life rafts to help you walk along the way, and you're able to help them do the same. And so how do we do this? So there are 6 steps, and each step is very intentional and it builds on each other. And so our foundation is identifying your limiting beliefs. Again, those things when you look in the mirror, that's what you're seeing and that's what you're telling yourself. And it might be completely contradictory to how you actually are, but you believe it as truth. And so those filters you're looking through, you can't see the real you. And so we want to figure that out. Whether it's fears, doubts, or negative labels, we're going to identify those first. Because being aware of those is the first step. Because then that takes us into step 2, which is remembering God's truths. Who does God say that you are? Who are your biggest supporters in those moments where you are low and you need somebody to help pray you through, or to even just stand in prayer and agreement with you, or to just be there to give you that godly advice, not to gossip or tear you down, but to help edify and lift you up. We want to figure that out and write that out as well, because those are the things that you're going to go to every time those limiting beliefs come up. Okay, well, who does God say that I am? I am loved. I matter. I am enough. I am chosen. I am redeemed. I am his daughter. Those are the things you want to be remembering. So that way, when those limiting beliefs come up, you say, you can take those thoughts captive and be able to remember who God says that you are. Know who you are. I mean, down to like simple things, okay? I don't even just mean spiritually anymore. I'm talking about what's your favorite color? What do you like to do for fun? What are those things that make you you? What are your personality? You know, what's your history? What are the things that you've been through that you've overcome? Hello, you're sitting right here in this webinar. You are still standing. You're still here for a reason. That is why every day it's a gift. They call it the present for that very reason, because you are gifted. You've got lungs in your air and a beat in your heart, or air in your lungs and a beat in your heart. You're still here for a reason. And you've got something to do. There are other people out there waiting for you to step into what God has called you to do because you're the answer to the prayers they've been praying. I'm going to say that again. You are the answer to the prayers they have been praying. But you're having a hard time seeing that because of the filters you're looking through, which are those limiting beliefs. So we're going to go ahead and call them out so that way we can capture them and replace them with God's truth and then get to know who you are on the inside and those things that you do enjoy so that you can start articulating those things and sharing them with other people. Your reflection of the past in step 4, those are the lifestyles, the things that you've done, the things you've been passionate about, and the experiences you've had thus far. Work-related experiences, experiences in life, relationships, friendships. We're going to notate all of those things because that's going to help you to figure out more of who you are. What are the things that you liked in those experiences that you like? Oh man, I really enjoyed that. I totally forgot that I did that. It's helping you to have a record of your life from birth to now. So that way you can then step into number 5 with those visions of the future. What additional experiences do you desire? In what ways do you want to grow? And how do you want to contribute to the world from here on out? So that dash, because you remember I say make your dash count, that dash in the middle is totally yours to own. You don't have control over the day you're born. You don't have control over what day you pass. But that dash in the middle is all you. So up until this point, as you reflect, it might have been things that maybe it wasn't stuff you wanted to do, or maybe you just did what everybody else suggested you should do. They said, oh, well, you should do this, or this is the safe and secure route. This is the best route for you. But now you're at a point of your life, this doesn't feel like it fits anymore. I can tell I'm in transition. It's a new season. But you don't want to just jump into anything or just accept this job or this position. You want to be meaningful and purposeful in line with who God created you to be. That's where we step into number 6, okay? Because in 5, these are the experiences you want. These are the ways you want to contribute and the ways you want to grow. But in 6, that's going to help you determine what you're going to say yes to and what you're going to say no to, because you're creating a new filter system. You're deciding, what are your values? Maybe it's different than it was before. What are they right now today? Is it your faith? Is it your family? Is it your time? What is it that's most important to you in terms of your values? Then, what are your standards? Those 2 or 3 things that are like, nope, these are my standards. Essentially, your boundaries. What are those standards that have to be upheld no matter what? And then what's your why? Why do you want those things? These things that you look at your visions of the future, why do you want those? What is it going to feel like when you get to those things? When you grow in that way, when you're able to contribute in that way, when you have those experiences, what is that going to do for you, for your family, for your community, for those around you? Why do you want it? You have to know your why. So then on those tough days or in the valleys, you can still be hopeful, still have peace, still be prayerful and praising God, because you know that the same God that took you to the mountaintop is the same God with you in the valley. The same God that is at the highs is right there with you in the lows. And you can keep that even keel all the way through. Yeah, there's going to be good days and bad days, but overall, your demeanor and who you are stays firm because you know and understand that who you are is who God created you to be before He placed you in your mother's womb. It has nothing to do with the things that you've experienced and gone through. It's who He designed you to be from the beginning. So you're constantly returning back to your manufacturer, and you know your why, you know your values, you know your standards. And then you know what your founding scriptures are. What are those ones that you stand on? Like Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge Him and He will direct your paths. That's what you want. You want Him directing your paths. So that even when you are going forward and all of a sudden this huge brick wall stands in front of you and it's too long for you to go around because it's going to put you way out of the way, it's too high for you to go over. You need to be able to go through it. That is when you've got to be secure in who you are and who God called you to be. And so that's why you need to go through these steps to be able to get to that point and be like, devil, I know exactly what God called for me, and what He has for me is for me. I'm going to be able to go through this wall. God's going to obliterate it, blow it up, whatever needs to happen so that you can keep moving forward. But you've got to have that confidence, and fear and doubt and limiting beliefs cannot stand in your way any longer. So you've got to be able to determine what those are so that you can overcome them and walk right through that wall. God's going to open the door for you to walk right through it. Okay. So that is how we do it here at the Journey of You. I do want to tell you a couple of benefits of why it's important. Because once you have that actual visual of where you've come from and where your starting point is, you look at yourself and life differently. At that point, you're able to decide, okay, from here forward, this is what I want out of my life. So you decide different. You're running it through all those filters that we talked about. And if it doesn't line up with those filters, it's so much easier for you to be like, nope, it's not in line with my purpose and what I'm going to do from here on out. I can't do that. Because if I say yes to that, then I have to say no to this. If I say yes to joining those 10 different committees, then I'm saying no to the time that I want with my family, or the time to work on my business, or the time to volunteer in ministry, whatever it is that God has called you to do. You say yes to one thing, you're saying no to something else. So if you run it through your filters, you could be like, nope, it doesn't check all these boxes. I can't do it. That is what those filters are there for, to help you in the days when your emotions might be out of whack and you don't want to make an emotional decision. Go back to your filters, because that's your baseline. You've built it, learning around who you are and where you've come from so that you know where you want to go forward. So you can run it through that now. It's not just you trying to make a decision in the middle of your emotions or the middle of life happening. You can make very intentional, purposeful decisions, okay? You think and you act different. Remember we talked about those limiting beliefs? You're able to then start taking those thoughts captive and thinking on the things that it talks about in Philippians 4:8 that are lovely, pure, of good report, praiseworthy. You're able to be like, okay, is this thought, what I'm thinking right now, does it line up with those things? If it doesn't line up with those 8 characteristics, I need to let it go. This is where you're able to get to. You have that confidence. You know God's word. You know what he says, and you're able to then think and act differently. You live differently because now you're living in purpose and on purpose. And so everything that you do is intentional. You can be fully present in the moment and not have to worry about tomorrow, what's happening this afternoon, what happened yesterday, because you're like, God's got me even in this moment. Even if I made a mistake and messed up, God's got me. Okay. It's no longer anyone else's decision, but yours. Okay. Which is going to improve your health, because shifting your mindset around who you are is beneficial in improving your health and decreasing your stress. The weight of what we carry, especially as women, is very heavy. And we're walking around and we're trying to fix it and do this, and we're wearing all the hats. At what time are we taking the time to sit still and let God pour into us? You cannot pour from an empty vessel. And so if you're constantly just pouring out, trying to help everybody else, but you don't take time to replenish your own cup, eventually you're going to burn out and be exhausted. How many days have you spent burned out and exhausted? I've been there. At what point do you make a change while you still have the ability and capability to do so before your body shuts itself down and makes you rest? That is the point of this, so that you can improve your health. Because when you are feeling better about yourself, you make better choices. Self-care is the best care. You prioritize that time to either go on the walk, to get the rest that you need, to go get a massage or a mani-pedi, whatever it does that fills your cup. You prioritize that, you put it on your schedule and plan for it, and you make sure it happens. Then you're improving your health. You're spending time with God. You're reading his word. You're allowing him, like I said, to pour into you. Well, now you can be a fully whole person walking around and doing the things that God needs you to do, because you're prioritizing you too, which is going to improve your health, because he wants us to prosper and be in good health, even as our soul prospers. If you're taking the time to feed your soul, absolutely it's going to affect all the other areas of your life. Okay. It gives you that elevated perspective. Again, you can't know where you're going until you know where you've been and where you're starting from. If you don't believe me, think about it. You were to go in your phone right now and say, hey, I want you to take me to this location. If you don't already have your location set, the first thing it's going to ask you is, what is the starting point? And until you put that in there, it's not going to map it out and tell you how to get anywhere. You're going to be stuck, just like you are in life, and you don't know where you're starting from. So you have to know where you're starting from. And the best way to know that is to know where you came from. So we're connecting all the dots. This is your journey. We're connecting all those dots for you. So don't overlook or dismiss what you've already accomplished in pursuit of what you've yet to do. You have to celebrate that, appreciate it, and be grateful for everywhere God has brought you from Because again, you're still standing. You didn't do it on your own. God brought you through those things. But there are some things that you have accomplished. Give yourself some credit for it. Don't dismiss it just because somebody else is like, oh, you should have been further. You haven't amounted to anything. You haven't done this, by this age. Who cares? We don't all have the same timeline. And just because this person did it this way doesn't mean that that's the way you're supposed to do it too. This is your journey. You've got to decide what's best for you between you and God and what he's called you to do, not everybody else's opinions. Okay? You don't have to consult anyone else, because when God called you, as Minister Regina Rogers would say, it was not a conference call. He did not ask anyone else's permission for what needed to happen in your life. So the only approval that you need is his. Not for you to go out and be rude or anything to anybody else. I'm just saying that in terms of your purpose and who God called you to be, that is very personal and relational between you and God. So you don't have to have everybody else's opinion about it. You talk to him first. Of course, there's safety in the multitude of counsel. So then after you've got it convinced, God's confirmed it and you know what he's called you to do, then you can go out and get wise counsel. Okay, well, I'd like to start a ministry. I'd like to start a church. I want to start a business. Okay, now you can go out and get opinions of people who have also done it, who have already walked those paths that you're trying to walk through, so that they can give you guidance along the way. Because the blind lead the blind, we all fall in the ditch. And so in those magnitudes, yes, there is counsel. It even tells you in the Bible who sits down to build a house without first considering the cost. So there are areas that you do need counsel, but start with God first. Okay. So that's everything that I want to tell you about the journey of you and how we can help you. It really is your choice. And so maybe you have your vision of what you already know that God has called you to do, but you're not sure how to get there. Let's connect those dots to help you get there. Maybe you don't even have a vision yet because you're just like existing in the day to day, just going through the motions. You know there's more to life, but you're just like, I have no idea where to even start or how to even try. No worries. We can help you too. Again, it's connecting those dots. No matter where you're at on the journey, we've just got to figure out where on the journey you're at so that we can help you connect the dots to keep moving forward. So if you want to learn more about the course, I would say go to www.thejourneyofyou.net/courses so you can learn more about what's available in the courses and go ahead and jump in. In terms of the community, we meet twice a week right now. On Monday mornings, it's 8:30 a.m. for Mindset Mondays. And it's really focused on your mindset, getting you ready for the week to hit the ground running and to shift, just in case maybe over the weekend if something happened or you're like, oh, it's Monday. I know, I've been there, but you want to start looking forward to Mondays, being excited about jumping into the week and running after everything that God has for you. Literally, when he calls us and we stand before him, you want him to say, well done, my good and faithful servant. Come on in. You want to use every single gift that he gave you, whether he gave you one, whether he gave you 5, whether he gave you 10, no matter what. Use everything that he gave you to the best of your ability. Do it in excellence. Do it with joy. Freely share, just like you've freely been given, freely share it. People are waiting on you. And so that's what we do on Monday mornings. And then on Thursday, you have an opportunity to just be you. Thursday evenings, we come in and we kind of start with where you at, how are you feeling for the week? But then it's your opportunity to literally just be you. If you want to practice answering that question, who are you, as you've been learning to find out, who you are and uncovering it, it's a safe space for you to say, well, hi, I'm Tonia, and I like da, 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 or I'm Tonia, and I stand for da, 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 da. Like if you ask me now, I would tell you, I'm Tonia. I'm a multifaceted creative visionary on a mission to empower women to become all that God created them to be. That is my short clip notes of who I am. You might ask me how, and then I could further expound, but I don't have to question anymore. I don't have to be like, well, this is what I do. This is how I do it. Nope. I know who I am. But that's because I know whose I am, which is the daughter of the king. And that's where you got to start. And so in community, you have that chance to really become right there in a safe space of other women who are doing the same thing, who are also on their own journey. And you can show up just as yourself. We're just not going to leave you the same way that we found you. Of course, fully accepted, but we're going to keep pushing you to get to that point of who God created you to be. And so if you have any questions, please please let me know. I don't see any in the chat right now. If you think of any, these are the ways that you can contact me to let me know how you're feeling, what your questions are, or you're not sure where on the journey you're at. That's fine. We can talk through it. So reach out and let me know. Other than that, I would love for you to head over to the website and jump in. We want to see you in the course of the community and help you, because this is your journey. It's where your life begins. Thank you all.